Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Now, that can be a pretty hard hitting quote, couldn't it, Danielle?
Yep.
Right, so you're telling me if I don't examine my life, it's not worth living. I don't know if I'd say it to that extent, but we're going to talk about today the importance of examining our life to live our fullest life. Hi, everyone. I'm Tony Jalen, joined by the wonderful
Danielle Jalen.
Welcome to a Rare Leaders Conversation, where our goal is to equip you and empower you and educate you with tools and resources to help you go ahead and live your best life. And today we're going to talk about reflection, inspection, and direction. It's January 31st already. A whole month has gone by today. It's crazy. And this morning, I was looking at the reflection workbook that we do each year, and I was looking at the goals that I have for this year, and I was like, man, at first was thinking, God, I didn't hit the things I wanted to hit. But yet, we did achieve quite a few of the things that I wanted to hit. And I think sometimes, if you haven't done a reflection, if you haven't done a planning, where you can feel that you didn't progress. So I want to talk about today in terms of, why it's so important to reflect. And when you reflect, it leads to better inspection and better direction in our lives. So let's first off talk about reflection. Just moments ago, Danielle and I were talking a little bit about the month of January, and we're already inspecting what February is going to look like. And I was going, looking at that calendar, like, I didn't realize that. And I go, how often, Danielle, do you think in terms of reflection, one, we don't do it enough. Two, why not? Like, why don't we do enough reflection, you think, sometimes?
Well, I think a lot of times we just get caught in the moment and we're just living day by day because things get busy. And instead of taking the time we need to slow down and plan for what's going to be happening and see what happened so that we don't run into the snowball effect of everything just running together, we just get caught up in life.
Yeah. And I think that's true too. Is like we go, 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 and we don't ever schedule that time to go ahead and reflect. And they say, most people spend 80% of their time here in business, for example, 80% time in the business and 20% on the business. And what I've learned is the more I've grown, the more my responsibilities have grown, and personally and professionally, it is so important for me to reflect. We were actually just talking about our plan for February. She's like, well, if you want to do this on this Sunday, that means you're not going to have 2 weekends of your reflection. She knows the importance of reflection for me because when I don't do it, I'm one of those people that can just go, 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 go. And I heard this quote, you never don't want to mistake activity for achievement. And she knows in terms of how important it is for me to be a better leader for reflection. So one, we don't do it enough because I don't think we're intentional in doing it. Two, I don't know if people actually have a system to do it. They're like, oh, it's going to take so much time. Like, why is that a question? Like when I share this reflection workbook with some people, like they look at it and it's like, 25 pages and like, oh, I don't have time to do that. Or, oh my gosh, like why is that thought process come up?
I think we just are so used to having so much on our plate all the time that we over exaggerate the amount of time that it actually takes to do this stuff. And so we think we're busier than we actually really are. Then when we are more focused and disciplined on the use of our time, we actually have a lot more free time than we would know what to do with.
There's that, right? When I would used to say, people say, oh, I'm so busy. I used to say that. I'm really busy. What it really meant is like, do you really have an idea of what's really going on? And you have a lot of unfinished things that you haven't tackled. This is like you said, that story, that perception of busy. Okay, so we've identified the reasons why people don't reflect. But when you reflect, it does lead to better inspection. One, I think it's hard for people to inspect always what's happening. Like realize it. hey, you know what? I don't have enough time, but have you inspected and reflected on what you've done with the time? What do you feel has been the hardest struggle for you in terms of truly not only reflecting but inspecting what you're doing?
Well, I think not so much that, but what I've learned from being able to do it is I started keeping notes on different things, because a lot of the activities we do are the same month to month or year over year. And so if I can find a better process or a quicker process to plan for those, it allows me to be more present in the moment instead of trying to coordinate things in the middle of it. And so I'm more prepared to be more present in the moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was listening to a talk by the famous and legendary Jim Rohn this morning. I actually listened to it 3 times today. And he says, when you're at work, work. When you're playing, you're playing. Because people wonder, well, why is my work suffering? Because I'm playing while I'm supposed to be working. Or vice versa, when I'm playing, why is my leisure activity or relaxation time doesn't feel like relaxation time because I am working while I'm playing. I'm guilty. I've done that. And I hate that feeling. Like if I go on a vacation and don't feel like I really just disconnected, like I don't like that. But that's where that inspection comes in place. Like this morning, actually maybe the last couple of weeks, I've been even doing a stronger job of, you know what, not checking that email. Like in that morning time before getting to work, like it's all about, develop myself, connecting with you, connecting with Ezekiel, and just getting my mind right for the day. And I tell you what, it has made a tremendous difference. Because even though I thought I was good at it, but when I reflected and inspected, I wasn't as good at it as I thought. And I don't know about you, Danielle, but has this ever happened to you where you're in a different moment in a conversation, or you're about to do something, and an email came through that could require action, but you didn't take the action, and yet the thought of that action consumed your thoughts while you're going to start the other thing. I'll give you an example. I moved a lot at that time. Like, whoa. All right. So last week I got an email, and I literally told myself on that it was a Friday or whatever, I'm done with work right now. I'm done. Close down my email, and I'm done. And then I'm finishing up, and it's like that. And the little voice said, "Don't check your email. Don't check your email." And I checked my email. And there was something that I was being asked of. I'm like, nope, I'm not responding to it. I'm not responding to it. Crap, I gotta respond to it. But then I started a draft. I'm like, no, I'm not saying it right now. I played this game with myself. And it literally, I was on my mind the whole night. And what do you think was the first thing I thought of when I woke up the next day?
What you didn't do?
What I didn't do. What I didn't do. So through reflection and inspection, I'm like, I'm not going to do that to myself. And I made that commitment this week. Nope. When I'm done with my work email, I am done. Dunzo, not touching it. People sent me a couple texts this morning and they're like, oh, Tony, check your email. I go, nope, not ready for email yet. Not going to happen. So I think, again, when you reflect, it leads to better inspection, which then turns into direction. Better direction for our lives, our action, and where we put our energy into. Where do you feel that's helped you the most in terms of when, you reflected, you inspected, and then which led to better direction? Like, can you name a specific area that you think, you know what, by doing this, it really has helped me level up?
I think just for us getting ready for like a lot of my time is spent getting prepared for the volleyball tournaments and like making sure you and Ezekiel have everything ready. And so now I've done such a good job of preparing ahead of time that when the time comes, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I forgetting something? like I'm actually so prepared for it that I'm more relaxed and can enjoy it. And so now I'm like second guessing myself. Did I forget something in there because everything's going so smoothly right now? So I think it just helps. And then it's a new feeling to get used to. Like hey, I'm actually getting prepared ahead of time that we're not rushing and struggling and wondering and scratching our heads like, hurry, let's go. Um, we can actually relax into the event.
It's so true. That's so true. It's like we know birthdays happen every year on the same date. We know Thanksgiving happens every year. Christmas happens every year. But like you said, it's like, and I like how you said that. When you actually prepared properly for the event, you're able to enjoy it more, right? You saw it, you're like, okay, here's the things I gotta do. That I check the boxes up, and I gotta send it ahead and see, like, maybe this is not the right thinking on my side, but I'm so confident in your abilities of to make sure that we're properly prepared to, to go on the trips, to go on vacations, to work on different things in terms of volleyball, etc. That I don't even think about it. I'm like, just come in, the key things you need me to do, and I'll do them, and everything else will work out great. If it doesn't, then I'm blaming you. So I think that leads to the next part in terms of the better direction. They say nothing was great accomplished by oneself, and I think in terms of all the different things that all of us have on our plate, if you watch on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, you could probably relate to this. I think sometimes we try to do things all by ourselves, and that's where at least I fail at times. And I forget that there's a lot of times other people involved in the process. It's not only me that has to be made aware of it. And I literally just was guilty of that yesterday. I told my leadership about an event we're going to be doing for our regional development in terms of leadership development. But I didn't tell them like what day we were going to do it so they could properly promote it. Like, I'm like, I just got to get better at that. How do you factor in like the resources and the people that are involved in the redirection when you want to achieve things?
Well, I think it's just that it's not if you're doing something, you're most likely going to need other people with you. So it's unless you're going to do everything by yourself, which a lot of us tend to do. And so I think just realizing what areas other people need to contribute to what you're doing, and then just making sure that they understand, like no different than me asking you to plan in your schedule to get key fobs for the car. Like I don't want to head out of town to a tournament and have a situation happen like somebody else did and only have one key fob and the valet loses their key, um, to run into that. So it's constantly reminding you or asking you. And it may sound like I'm nagging you, but at the same time, knowing that even if I tell you something one time and I ask you about it, you're like, I don't remember that. I do that. We
Yeah.
just need to remind each other several different times because we could be saying it in a passing conversation and the person's not fully there. So, emailing or texting or keeping a written log of some sorts that you're doing it so that they're aware as well.
That's a good point too. Good. I didn't have that on my daily action plan today. The key fob thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to do that. And actually, I got my call on a call. It's called the dealership. So I thank you for doing that because you were right. You said to me in passing, and I wasn't. I remember you said it like to me twice now, but I was on my way to do something else, and it wasn't. It's important to me, but it wasn't a priority until probably St. Louis City said to me, "Why didn't you get the key fob yet?" But no, I think that's important. I think too, in terms of like truly, when you're looking to achieve something, whether it be a better relationships, better health, better finances, better, results from your job, is schedule time with those people that are part of your team. Like Danielle's part of my team, I'm part of her team. And literally when we were talking this morning and there was evident to me like there's some important things on your mind. I'm like, all right, we gotta schedule time for next week because we talk during passing a lot or things will come up, but I want to be like in the right mindset of okay, you got me, talk to you. What things do I got to take note of? So thank you for that, Danielle, and I hope this helped you all who heard today's conversation. Of invest the time to reflect, which will lead you to better inspection, will lead to better direction in your life and all of our lives. Danielle, final thoughts from you?
I just feel if you're having a little anxiety or like stress around your schedule, that it's important to take the time to reflect and use the time. It doesn't take that much time to plan, so that you can head into different situations feeling a little more relaxed and prepared.
Yeah. And I'll leave you all with this quote by Ben Franklin. For every moment or for every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. So with that thought, found value in today's conversation, make sure to send an invite to the Rare Leaders on Facebook to join our private Facebook group or share this comment on YouTube and Twitter. Until next week, I am Tony Gion, joined by
Danielle Jalen.
the wonderful one. Onward and uppers, everybody.